Hey everyone, it's Casey. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books I have personalized to me from authors. So sometimes I'll go into like Barnes & Noble or Target and you can get books that are signed, but those will not be included in these. These are specifically books I've gotten the book signings for, and so they are personalized to me. So let's just get right on into that. Also, before we get right on into it, I got most of these when I lived in Kansas City. There is a really great independent bookstore there called Rainy Day Books, and they have a ton of author events, and they get like amazing people, and they had like George W. Bush, who wrote a book right after he was president. They had him in, and they had like all the authors I'm going to be discussing in. So they have like, if you live in that kind of area or even St. Louis, I want to drive to Kansas City, because they get amazing authors. Okay, so now let's get right on into it. So the first two books I'm going to talk about, I actually did not get at that bookstore, but they are both Sarah Dessen books. So the first Sarah Dessen book that I personalized is Saint Anything. And then I also have Once and For All. This one is her latest one. So when I got Saint Anything, I got this one at St. Louis, and she went to a library. And her book signings are mostly, she does like a short little talk, maybe like 30 minutes, and plays maybe some trivia and stuff like that. And then you will go and get in your line with whatever number you have. Most book signings are like by number, or you're put in some sort of group or something. And then you go in and you get like 30 seconds to a minute to talk to Sarah as she's signing your book, or to get a picture or whatever. I never get pictures with the authors because I just don't want that. So that's that. I just said to Casey and then signed Sarah. And then when I saw her for Once and For All, I actually went to Chapel Hill, which is where she's from, and I took my little sister, who is 12, and she's reading Sarah Dessen books, so that was really cool. And that one, since it's her hometown, like her family was there, a lot of her friends, and I felt that one was way more chill, I guess. We had a lot more time with Sarah, like in line, and so that was really neat to get like more time with her, and I felt like she was more relaxed because she was with her people, and everything. So if I think from now on, if I live in like Seattle, I'm not gonna fly to Chapel Hill, but from now on, if I can get to Chapel Hill for her signings, I will definitely go there because I liked her kind of relaxed atmosphere on that one. And it just says the same thing, to Casey, and then her signature. So those are great. So love those. And then all the next ones I got at that bookstore I talked about before in Kansas City. So the first one I have is The Age of Miracles by Karen Thompson Walker. This one I just did a book review on, not a book review, like an unappreciated book talk thing on it, so I will link that below. And this one, the author was actually with another author who I don't remember who it was. The other author's book didn't interest me. It was like a historical kind of book, and I'm not really into that. But I had actually read this book before. That's something I try and do, is to always read the book before I go to the book signing. Because then normally they'll have like Q&As about the book, or when they're talking about it, you just get a better idea. So I had read this one before, and it's also really nice because when you go through the author line and you do get that short time with the author, I always like to tell them like, oh, this is what I loved about your book, or something, to make it less awkward, especially since I don't get my picture taken with them. So this one, there's actually like something really sad that happens with her grandfather that I was telling her about, like how it ripped my soul out, what happened to the grandfather in here. And so in this one she wrote, Casey, thanks so much for the kind words. Lovely to meet you. Best, Karen Thompson Walker. So that's really nice. And then the next one I got, oh my god, this book is so dusty. Because I have these displayed, and like I don't have them on these white bookshelves. I have them displayed elsewhere. It is I Shouldn't Be Telling You That I Shouldn't Be Telling You This by Kate White. And Kate White actually used to be the editor-in-chief of Cosmo magazine. And so this is kind of like 51 Gutsy Secrets Every Woman Should Know. It's kind of like one of those books before Lean In happened, where it was all about like women in the business empowerment. It's really good if you haven't read it, and if you're in that demographic. Hers was actually a like presentation where she gave some of her like tips, and she told like specific anecdotes from her life that she thought that it was majority women, that she thought the women in the audience would love to hear, and it was great. So this one just says, Casey, go big, Kate White. So that was neat. The next one I went to was actually really different from all the other ones. And it was when Nicholas Sparks came for The Longest Ride. This one, there were 5,000 people there. So this one, I did go to a book signing for, but he didn't personalize any of the books. They were already signed beforehand. Because when you have 5,000 people, you can't be personalizing that many books. So he did like a Q&A with the bookshop owner. And talked about, this wasn't really, his talk wasn't really specifically about The Longest Ride. It was more about his writing process and like writing tips and things like that. But at the end of that, instead of going through the line to get personalized, you would go on either side of the stage. You would line up on either side, and then you would, like, one person would go and take a picture with them, and then the other side would come and take a picture of them. I mean, of course, with 5,000 people, that's what you have to do, but it felt a little bit like herding, like, cattle, like, let's just get these people through. I did not get a picture with him. I gave my tickets to, like, someone else. But I really did like his talk, and The Longest Ride is one of my favorite Nicholas Sparks books, so his talk was really good, and it's interesting, like, I think he said he writes like 5,000 words a day, and he listens, I think he watches like, it's been a while since I went to his book signing, but I'm pretty sure he said he listens to like horror movies while he's writing. It's like something crazy violent when he's writing these romantic love scenes, so that's kind of funny. The next one I also went to was The Pioneer Woman, Black Heels and Tractor Wheels, by Ree Drummond, who is the Pioneer Woman. If you don't know her, she has like a Food Network show, and she has like a magazine and a whole line in Walmart. She is this kind of like city girl who married a cowboy in Oklahoma. And this is her memoir. She wasn't there promoting the memoir. She was there promoting her cookbooks, or like her latest cookbook at the time. But you could bring other things. And so this was my favorite. I took a couple things for her to sign, and this was what I got signed for me. And I got something signed for my sister, like one of her children's books, and I got a cookbook signed for my mom. She was great. She did like a PowerPoint presentation with like pictures and jokes. If you're familiar with The Pioneer Woman, her talk was a lot about, and included like her humor. She has like a specific kind of self-deprecating humor. It was really enjoyable, her talk. And this one just says, I think that says, sometimes it's really hard to read the author's handwriting. I think it says, love to Casey, or love you, Casey. I think it says love to Casey, and then it's signed Heart Ree. So I got that. And then the last one I have the actual copy still of. This book is so heavy. It is The Bully Pulpit by Doris Kearns Goodwin. Not gonna lie, I've never read this book, but Doris Kearns Goodwin wrote the book called, oh, I forget what the name of the book is, but it is the book that the movie Lincoln is based on. And she came right after that movie was released. And it's one of my favorite movies. Abraham Lincoln's my favorite president. I'm like super into history. So I went mainly to hear her talk about Lincoln, and she did again like a Q&A with the bookshop owner, and so she did talk a lot about Lincoln and about getting her book made into a movie and how she was a consultant on that movie. And then she did talk about this book, which is about Teddy Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, and the Golden Age of Journalism. It's one of those books I do want to read, but this book is so big. It is, I still have, like, the newsletter from, it's, like, over 800 pages. Yeah, so it's so daunting, and, like, look at it's, like, one of those books that's so intimidating. But I did like her. She also wrote a memoir, that focuses on baseball, that I really, and like her childhood with her dad, and baseball. So I really want to read that one sometime. And this one, it just says, to Casey. That's it. So sometimes I really like the one I showed before, Karen Thompson Goodwin. No, that's not her name. I really appreciate Karen Thompson Walker, who like kind of personalized her thing, and I think it's because she's not a super well-known author. This was her debut book, and I don't know if she's published since then. So she probably had more time to like write stuff in besides just my name and her signature. I kind of wish more authors would take the time, but I understand like when you have 400 people waiting through, you don't have time to write like a spiel on each one, but it would kind of be a little bit nice. And then I actually went to one other one that I do not have the books for anymore. I went to see Ransom Riggs, and it was when the second Miss Peregrine book came out. I forget the name of it. I have no idea. I don't know if it's Library of Souls or if Library of Souls is the third one. I don't know. It was when the second book came out. I had read Miss Peregrine's specifically for this book signing, and it terrified me. I still think about that book. Like, it creeped me out. So I got the second book personalized by him during his book signing, and I actually gave it away to one of my coworkers' kids like a couple years ago, because I was never gonna read the series, and I didn't even want to like look at the books. Like, that's how freaked out I got. So yeah, I gave those away. But those are all the books that I have personalized. I really like book signings. If you've never been to one, they are super fun, especially if it's an author that you love, like mine, Sarah Dessen. Like, I love her, and so I want to go to her book signings and just hear her talk about her books. They're great, and then it's a great way to meet like other people that like similar books, obviously. So it's great. And then a couple of these, like, I would bring my coworkers or my friends with me to them. So it's good fun, and most of the time they're free. All you have to do is buy the book. So that's not too much trouble to buy them. Anyway, those are my signed, personalized book collection. I hope that you like this video. Please subscribe and have a great day.